Okay, welcome. My name is Christine Hugh. I am with the Learning Academy Services at the University of South Florida here in Tampa. And with me today, I have my colleagues from McDonald Training Center. I have Christine Moore, or Christy, and she is the clinical director at McDonald Training Center. I also have Krista Wright, who is the project manager at McDonald Training Center. I also have Carolyn Jenkins, who is the success coach and employment specialist with our Tech2Work program. She is here joining just to listen in, but can also answer questions if needed. So we are going to go ahead and get started. And I will go to the next slide. So I'll start with a brief overview of the program. So Tech2Work is a very unique collaboration between McDonald Training Center and the Learning Academy Services. We noted that we were both offering some great trainings, technology-based trainings, and we found that why not collaborate? We share the same values, and we really find it important to provide high quality training, education, and supports to individuals with disabilities. So that is how Tech2Work was born. So Tech2Work begins with students beginning the IC3 digital literacy certification at McDonald Training Center. And within that, and Krista will talk more shortly about that, but within that, students learn fundamentals of computer hardware, software networks, and other basics. It's pretty much that introduction. And these certifications lead to a lot of different types of careers in the technology field. Then once the student completes the IC3 digital literacy certification program, then they move into our robotics process automation, RPA program, or automation program for short. And this is a fairly new, it's like the next big thing. Cybersecurity is still pretty popular, and a lot of people are jumping on learning that, but automation is becoming something that is very valuable to have, just like the IC3 digital literacy certification for businesses. And just briefly, I'll talk a little bit about what that means. It is not a robot. It's not a hand reaching to grab anything. This is really work that you're doing on a computer. So you're kind of configuring computer software such as Automation Anywhere, which is what we train students on, or you're configuring a bot. So imagine a little bot in your computer, and they integrate and perform actions of what typically humans do on the computer. So I like to use the simple example of you can create a bot to check your emails and respond to them. Imagine the time you save, especially if they're, like us with the program, we have a lot of the same questions and answers. So we train folks to be prepared to do that. And at the end, they also get a certification, an advanced RPA professional certification. Our certifications are really long, the names of them. But on top of that, we also prepare students throughout the entire program to meet the specific needs of employers in the tech field. So they learn a lot of we call it soft skills or workforce development skills. But again, we try to target the important skills employers in the technology field are looking for. And we find that adding that aspect or component to our curriculum really makes us unique, because we're not just doing, the hard skills, the certifications, but we're also targeting the soft skills. So students are leaving stronger candidates for these jobs. So I will go into the next slide, and I will hand it over to Krista Wright.
Hello. Yes, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about the IC3 Digital Literacy Certificate Program and that section and the curriculum that the class kind of reviews and examines. So with the students, when they come into the class, the certification is actually comprised of 3 exams. And each exam covers certain topics. So there's living online, key applications, and computing fundamentals. The IC3 Living Online exam and the coursework really takes students and introduces them to how computers connect to the internet, how electronic communication works, how you can use that as a resource for your work life or your home life. Living Online introduces students to different video conferencing or video meeting platforms and how you can use those. It takes students into kind of internet etiquette, so to speak. It also really examines security aspects of working and living in an internet age, and how you can protect yourself from, security breaches or providing too much information where that can then be taken or used in a way that could hurt you. And what also Living Online does is it talks about like the ethical implications of living in a world where we're so connected to the internet. It goes into streaming platforms, how what's the difference between uploading and downloading data. So it really kind of goes into the whole internet and online communication aspects that you would need to know. The second exam is Key Applications, and this introduces students to different programs that are available to you that you can use as a resource to help you, whether it's with schoolwork or with office work. It introduces students to different applications that they can use, whether it's gaming or calendar applications or communication applications. One of the things that it also examines and introduces students to are the different Office programs that are available, both Microsoft and open source. So it takes students into what is a word processing program and how can you utilize those features? What is a Outlook program or a mailing program? What is a spreadsheet program, and how do you perform these calculations, or what kind of calculations can you perform, or what kind of data can you either read or put into a spreadsheet? It introduces students to presentation applications and how you can use those. So it really kind of examines all facets and the different programs available that can be used as a really great resource. And then the third exam is probably, it's the longest. It's Computing Fundamentals, and that really introduces students to kind of the basic elements of technology and the different attributes of technology. So it introduces students to the different technology devices, phones, tablets, laptops, desktops, the different uses for each, servers. It takes students and introduces them to the different hardware components that are involved in a computer and how they work together to perform any kind of operation. So what is a motherboard? What is memory or RAM? What's a hard drive? And from that, it also examines how the hardware components and different software components work together, and how you can determine what hardware components are required to run different software programs or gaming systems. It also introduces students to IT fixes or help desk situations where if you run into a tech issue on your computer, how can you easily repair that, or how can you check to see if your computer is working properly? It also goes into cloud concepts and server concepts, and what is the difference between having a cloud system or a cloud server versus having a server in your location. So it examines all of that. One of as the students kind of progress through the course, each course material or section has its own exam that students can then take and become certified in. So students can be certified in Living Online, certified in Key Applications, and then certified in Computing Fundamentals. Throughout the whole program, students are given the opportunity to participate in a paid work experience. So McDonald Training Center has its equality recycling solutions, and that is a R2 certified electronics recycler and refurbisher. So the students in the IC3 program actually get to participate in the refurbishment service. They're paid for it. It's about 2 hours a day. And what they do in that time is they actually take donations that we receive and they test the equipment to determine if it's eligible for refurbishment. They sanitize data or destroy data. They replace components if need be. They download operating systems. They run quality control tests to ensure that the computer is running properly. So, you know, really when students walk away from this course, they're walking away with a really great understanding of what technology is and the different career opportunities and aspects of technology that are available to them if they're so interested. But then they're also walking away with a paid work experience that they've participated in, skills that they've practiced and honed in on that they can use to help them find the career of their choice, you know, in IT or in any facet, because as we know, technology is in every industry today. So it's a really exciting course. And with that being said, I'm going to toss it back to Christine to talk a little bit about the automation course.
Thank you, Krista. So once students are done learning all of those fantastic fundamentals, we were just joking, we should take the course too. They jump into automation because now they have those fundamental understandings of, you know, technology as a whole, really, when you look at what is used in the workplace these days. So what we go into is we are introducing students to the Automation Anywhere software program. And the first thing they learn is really what is automation and how is that used in different areas or industries within the technology field. So we talk about the business process. So how is this software used and important to different companies, and how does it help not only the company as a whole, but you know, the team members and different departments, and then the different ways that can be used day to day within the job of someone like an RPA developer or anything like that. And then they learn data type loop functions, which again is an important component to when you think kind of like the idea of coding, but folks are not creating code. They're really kind of copy and pasting code, so you do not need to know that. But to be able to take that data and to be able to think about looping it into a task that's a human normally does, but now the bot's going to do. And then you're introduced, which I think is totally fun throughout the whole program, to bots and using it in different ways. So under that, you see how to use bots within SQL, how to use bots within Excel. And these, if you work in any type of office job, almost everyone uses Excel these days. And you know, how do you use bots within those important components of the day-to-day work? And then creating those bots to perform jobs and taking the responsibility from the human to the bot to do in the background while the person does more work, like person-facing work. So then they go into Workbench and you know, the understanding the digital workforce and how that plays into again, the value of having bots perform those tasks, and again, working within creating those bots to perform in different programs, other software programs. And finally, we go into some soft skills. These are just a couple examples of the soft skills, workforce development skills, but virtual work etiquette. These days, where most of us are working from home, it's the safest option, but a lot of companies have realized that their employees are very capable and equally as productive if they're working from home. They're saving time on driving to work, on doing a lot of things. And unfortunately, for those of us who do work from home, more time to work. And so we talk a lot about virtual work etiquette, and we provide a ton of feedback, not only in the automation program, but we have a group of advisors from our programs that provide that valuable feedback. Instructors do on you're participating virtually if folks do decide to do that. This is what you should be paying attention to. You know, what does your background look like? Is, you know, little brother running around in his diaper? You know, is it really dark in there? Is it, you know, how to set yourself up for success in the virtual world. And, you know, a lot of companies no longer have office spaces. So, you know, our students, by the time they graduate in 2022, yes, 2022, they will possibly be doing remote work. But even so, if they're in the office, there's still a ton of Zoom meetings, there's team meetings, there's things that they will need to understand to be successful virtually and in person. And then we also, of course, because our students are getting a ton of the certificates and the official certifications, and they're trying to go into the tech industry, they should have a LinkedIn account. In-person networking is harder. So it is so important these days to understand how to maximize your networking skills in the virtual world, and how to really help get a job that way. They say, you know, most folks find their jobs through who they know, not just an online application. So we kind of introduce that to students and help them set up their LinkedIn account and work through the networking, understanding how to network and doing that through virtual means. So that's just an example of automation. And as well as just like IC3, students are going through modules, and at the end of each module, there's exercises that they can get certificates for, and they can upload those, they get badges, they can upload those badges to their LinkedIn account to show off, and of course on their resume. But I think it's just really cool that you can add like a cool badge. I think of Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. So I will move on to the next slide. And if you have questions, remember, feel free to add them to the chat, and we will have a Q&A portion towards the end of the presentation. And I will hand this over to Christy.
Hi guys. So eligibility, okay. So the baseline criteria is what we're looking for is that we do need reading and writing, math comprehension skills to all be 9th grade level. So how we come across that is if clients or students have a standard high school diploma, that's fabulous. Then you do not have to deal with the assessment process. But if you don't have a standard diploma, that is fine. That should not make you hesitate to apply. We will spend time during the interview process, and we will have some assessments to just gauge. And we're really finding that the content is of high rigor. And like Christine and Krista said, our instructors really will spend a lot of time accommodating and working with you when it comes to examination time and throughout the content, but we cannot modify those exams, right? We cannot change and say, okay, you only have to do half of it. Or if you can't read any of it, it's okay, I'll do it all. No, like the client, the student has to be the one who is truly engaging it. Can we use alternative software or interpreters? Can we accommodate and give extra time? Most of those, yes. So we do need to see that there's that baseline. Okay, our clients, we want to see also that we have a diagnosis of a lifelong acquired disability. We are not strictly focused on one diagnosis. We want to be there and work with you, regardless of where you're coming from. Okay, you need to have the ability to type on a computer. That does not have to be physically. It can be verbally with different softwares that are out there. But you need to be the one engaging, and not just having a assistant doing all that work. So we'll work with you to figure out how that is possible, but you do need to engage with the computer and be the self-advocate and person engaging in the content, okay? And self-regulation, which is tough with minimal directions. Our instructors who are teaching content, they are content experts. They have experience in the field when it comes to technology. They are teachers throughout other colleges and universities in the area, but they are not there solely for behavior management. Do we have people on the staff who are there and are able to aid and support throughout the class? Yes, but we do not provide the one-on-one behavior therapist to each client throughout the time. So you need to be able to have some self-regulation when you're in the class. So we understand we all get distracted, or we all can lose focus, and that is understandable, but we need you to be able to be in the room without disrupting your peers. And right now we're really focusing on those who reside in the state of Florida. Please contact us if you're not in the state of Florida. We'd love to have that conversation. But right now, because of our amazing employment specialists who have connections and contacts in the state of Florida, we want to be able to help support the client all the way through getting the certificate and then getting plugged in and having job opportunities. And right now, the reach is the state of Florida. Is it something that we hope to grow beyond that? Yes. But so that's what we're doing for this first year of our program. So that is when it comes to eligibility. And go ahead. I think Krista was going to share a little.
Absolutely. So students that are interested in the Tech2Work program can fill out an application. We have our application listed on the Tech2Work website, which we'll show in a second. Applications are due March 1st. One of the things that are required is the recommendation letter, documentation of a qualifying lifelong or acquired disability. One of other thing is if students have a high school diploma or any kind of certifications, they can submit that as well. If they don't, like Christy said, through the interview process, we can do assessments to determine the reading and math level. After the application is submitted, then we can schedule interviews. So the interviews will be virtual and they will be with the student and 3 of our team members. Family is more than welcome to join if they so choose. And so we can also coordinate with the interview process, set up assessment times and schedule that there then as well. So.
Thank you, Krista.
Of course.
And now we're going to share a cool video from one of MTC's clients. Christy, I think, is going to play that for us. Do I need to stop sharing? I think you're muted. There we go.
Client from the Johnson, and the reason I joined IC3 because I am a technology person. I work with all technology, and when I heard about IC3 with the Johnson, I'm like, I think that would be something I can work with. So my experience with IC3 has been amazing so far. In a couple of years, hopefully now, I'll get a job with something I have to do with continue. And Nick Christine and Miss Lick have been amazing. So for y'all who want to come over and join it, go for it. Because IC3 and the Johnson Center, it's a great place to be.
There you go. One of our current clients that we're excited to have join us.
He was here. I'm not sure where'd he go.
He might have got a little bashful.
Yeah. But yes, one of MTC's awesome clients, saying some very nice things, which is always great to hear. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. Okay. So now we'll talk about tuition, because I know that it's always on everyone's mind, you know, how much does this cost? Currently, and we are always looking for different ways to have this program funded. But currently we accept funding and are approved for funding from CareerSource, Tampa Bay. We are also approved to receive funding from the Gardner Scholarship, Florida Prepaid, and the Med Waiver. We also accept private pay. So those are some options now. And the tuition for this 3-semester or 12-month, 1-year program is $8,000. We are asking that payment be submitted in full by the first day of class. But please note that we recognize things happen and everybody's situation is different. So we will work with you one-on-one to kind of figure out the best funding options for you. And it is pretty typical that students and families will assemble funding from multiple sources. So we do not expect that we may get funding from one place. So again, if you have questions about this, we will have a Q&A session shortly. Okay, I think this is Christy's slide. Yeah.
And so when it comes to employment, we are excited to do all the training and certifications, but then we also know diving out is overwhelming and it's a big step. So we want to be there to support our clients as we go and help tailor that job exploration time. So we have fabulous staff members like Carolyn, who's joined us, and Scott and a few others joining us from the Learning Academy. So there are skilled employment advisors at both campuses, and they'll get to work with them throughout the program. So we're not going to just wait till the last day and say, oh, now we need to do job exploration. We want to really cultivate that and customize it throughout that year that you're spending with us. At the end of that time, to go on and have extended services, clients can work with, if they are have VR counselors, or they can do private pay to work with extended services beyond the program. But we want to make sure throughout our program that we are pairing it with employment services to have the best outcomes for our clients, because we're excited to see that they don't just earn the certifications and then not use them. We want to see them engaged. And the skilled employment specialists we have are also working in the community and working with businesses. They're cultivating those relationships and really truly customizing opportunities. So we're excited to have that as a essential piece of our program, you know, so that we're not purely training, educating, and then just hoping and wishing for the best. We're going to be supporting our students as they extend themselves and beyond our programming.
Thank you.
And then we have a frequently asked question page. So our last open house that we had about a month ago, these were some of the questions that popped up. So we'll touch base on these. And then again, any other questions we'd love to have. So just to clarify, the classes do start off at McDonald Training Center or virtual. So we are offering it both ways. So clients would come, and MTC, McDonald Training Center, is located in South Tampa, very close to International Mall and the Tampa Airport, right off of West Shore and Cypress. So that is the first part of the courses. And that IC3 is about 32 weeks of instruction, because that has the 3 certifications. And like everything we do, we're also accommodating. And if clients do need a little extended time, if they need extra work or extra hours, we'll work with you. So we have current clients who can finish it up much shorter. They fly through the content, and we'll make sure you're not just sitting around. We'll let you finish the content. There's other clients who might need a little more extended time, and we'll make sure we work with that as well. But 32 weeks is our goal and is what we have created an outline for. Then when automation starts, that is a 12 weeks of intense instruction on that certification. And that is located at or on USF's, the Learning Academy campus, and also offered virtually. Because we want to make sure those clients, if transportation is hard, if healthcare concerns and safety concerns are real, which we are going to address on our campuses as well, but you have options. and work with us throughout it. If you start virtually and then you eventually want to get hands-on, you can. So we'll customize with you. And classes begin June 1st. Okay, so June 1st, and then the 32 weeks and 12 weeks with a few holiday breaks, it takes you back to a full year worth of programming of classes. And I think those are the main questions. I think we covered those.
Thank you, Christy. Now it's time for questions. So if you do have questions, please feel free to ask them now.
We'll make sure, I think on our next slide, we do have our email addresses. So if you think of something later, if you have questions, please take a screenshot or type it down. Oh, that is a wonderful question. So Lisa, this is actually our first full year of the program that we're offering, this Tech2Work collaboration. So we do not have a graduation rate yet, but currently in IC3, all of the clients who are currently taking classes and examinations are passing their examinations. Some of them do need retakes and will need occasionally have to take a test a second time. But so far, every single client who's taken an assessment in our current class has passed them in IC3. And automation, we have several clients as well. Christine, do you have the number of those who have successfully passed the class and earned the certification?
I don't have the exact numbers, but I do know that all of our students actually completed the program and passed the certification.
So we really do want to spend time with the clients, and we're not going to say, oh, you don't pass it. We'll spend time. Again, with some of our courses, some clients took, and it will alter the flow and potentially the timeline, but there's some clients who were really persevering and took a few months longer, but they were determined and they were focused. And then we have other clients, again, who flew through it very quickly. And, and then Shelly, will the course be offered next year? So our first class will start this June, and that's our intention, right, ladies?
Absolutely.
Our intention,
absolutely.
Yeah, will be a program that is available and continue. So just make sure, perhaps, that even if you give us your email address, we'll make sure to keep you on a mailing list so you can hear, if this year doesn't work out, perhaps the student is still in high school. Oh, because I don't know if that was mentioned. We do want 18 and over. 18 and over, it will be on the website. So if you haven't finished high school yet, are you ready? Please reach out to us. We hope that this program will continue for years and years to come.
Absolutely.
And Matt, how long can you stay at McDonald's? We don't want people to get too comfortable there. We have clients who spend a variety of time. Some clients have spent several years because they seem to take other programs, but our goal is for you to earn the certification in that, 8 months to a year, and then move on to the next step, whether it's employment and working with Carolyn or Scott, or if it is, continuing automation and then beyond.
Yes.
So we don't have any hard deadlines, but our goal is employment. We want you to be out in the community. That's an exciting place to be, but we'll be there to support you regardless.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
Do not hesitate to give us a call or email and follow up with questions. Make sure we start getting applications in. We're excited to see our first cohort this summer.
Yes, and I will actually, I'm going to have to stop sharing, but I'm going to grab the link to the website and add it to the chat for everyone. So bear with me. The application portion, if you do plan to apply, try to apply towards the end of the week. We're still finalizing the application. And it should be completely ready to go by the end of the week. And the application is online. Now, if you require an accommodation and you need the paper application or the option to download the application, just email one of us and we can send the application over to you and we can discuss either faxing or mailing it. Let me get the chat back up. Sorry about that. Okay. So that is, again, the link to the website. I figured it'd be easier to copy and paste it. But if you have questions, you have issues when it is time to complete the application, if you're interested in moving forward, please feel free to contact us. We are available. But I think that is it for the day. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a wonderful day. And again, please contact us if you have questions.
Thank you. Hope to hear from you soon.